It's Thursday, May 1. In the headlines, the government proposes legislation on sentencing for children convicted of capital murder. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon shocked by People's National Party's sudden U-turn on Jamaica Teaching Council bill. In business news, we have your usual financial market updates. Regionally, in Trinidad and Tobago, resignations among PNM leadership following their loss at the polls. And in sports, Jamaica Boxing Association president pushes for high school boxing. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Jamaican government is advancing legislation that, if passed, will mandate a minimum 30-year prison sentence for children convicted of capital murder, with the possibility of parole after 15 years. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck outlined these provisions in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, detailing the proposed changes to existing laws. The legislation, which includes the Child Care and Protection Amendment Bill, the Criminal Justice Administration Amendment Bill, and the Offences Against the Person Amendment Bill, has undergone extensive deliberation by a joint select committee since 2023. It is now set to proceed through both houses of Parliament for further consideration. In his address, Minister Chuck emphasized that the bills are necessary and deliberate response to the growing concerns over violent crime, particularly murders, in the country.
Madam Speaker, Jamaica continues to grapple with unacceptably high levels of homicide. These are not just statistics. They represent real lives lost, sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, taking in acts of cold violence that tear families and communities apart. While, Madam Speaker, the government continues to invest in crime prevention, intelligence-driven policing, and social intervention programs, it is also imperative that the justice system reflects the seriousness of the crimes that continue to undermine public order and confidence in the rule of law.
The government's initial proposal to set a 20-year minimum sentence for minors convicted of murder sparked strong opposition from child rights organizations. UNICEF and the Office of a Children's Advocate expressed concern, arguing that the decision of sentencing should remain at the discretion of the presiding judge rather than a fixed term. In response to these concerns, Minister Chuck announced on Tuesday that the minimum sentence for parole eligibility would be reduced to 15 years.
When it is capital murder, which is the most egregious of murders, and also because it involves the killing of judicial officers, policemen, and multiple murders, where it creates havoc within the society. But most importantly, Madam Speaker, it is clear that the offender in capital murder has the malicious intent to destroy life, and oftentimes, Madam Speaker, using a gun.
He stated that this adjustment strikes a better balance between punishing offenders and considering the impact on victims' families, as well as reflecting the sentiments of Parliament. The Jamaica Constabulary Force vehicle numbers are set to increase, with the government seeking to have 1,600 operational units at all times, according to National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang. In his address during the 2025-2026 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Dr. Chang explained that these vehicles will be equipped with advanced technology, including cameras, sirens, and computer consoles, enabling officers to maintain continuous communication with headquarters. A fleet management system will also be implemented to monitor the vehicle's usage and maintenance.
A new fleet management system will be fleet management system across the island to enable real-time tracking, not only managing the system in terms of maintenance and repair, but we can track our vehicles.
The minister also highlighted other key investments in the JCF, particularly the ongoing rehabilitation and rebuilding of police facilities under the project Rebuild, Overhaul and Construct.
We have expanded and modernized the police training curriculum, equipping officers with advanced investigative techniques, intelligent analysis capabilities, specialized operational skills, and importantly, how to interact with the law-abiding citizens at all times. On the question of technology, Madam Speaker, the police have made the integration of advanced technology into their operation a top priority.
Under Project ROCK, as it is called, 16 police stations have been fully rehabilitated, including recent work in Lacovia, St. Elizabeth, and Frome, Westmoreland.
The Westmoreland Division headquarters at Landale is well underway. Yes. That's a photograph, groundbreaking, and the current building is to set the standards. It is setting a new standard for police station in Westmoreland, where the division headquarters will go.
Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon is hitting back at the opposition People's National Party, accusing them of failing to raise the very concerns it's now voicing about the Jamaica Teaching Council bill during last week's Senate debate. The bill passed with bipartisan support and 38 amendments, but just days later, opposition Senator Damon Crawford, who voted in favor of it, led a press conference outlining several issues alongside 8 other PNP members. Denita Rodney has a story.
Reacting to comments made by the People's National Party at a media briefing on Tuesday, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the contents of the long-awaited Jamaica Teaching Council JTC bill is the result of numerous bipartisan Joint Select Committee meetings. She notes that she gave the opposition ample time to review the bill before it was debated in the Senate.
The bill that was presented in the Senate was actually just a bill that came from that joint select process. So everything in there would have been discussed in the joint select process. But then you don't stop it there. You don't just pass a bill. You still take it to be debated. I tabled the bill in the Senate, and I waited 1 month to have the debate on it, to give everybody sufficient time to read it. On the day that I was to do the debate on the bill, the opposition said they were still not ready, and they asked for 2 more weeks. And I said, okay. And then 2 weeks later, we had a debate. And the issues that were raised yesterday were not raised in that debate.
Days after backing the JTC bill in the Senate, 9 PNP members, led by Senator Damian Crawford, are now raising concerns. But Dr. Morris Dixon says she's shocked by the sudden shift given their earlier support.
It opens a lot of questions, and for me, someone who is not a politician, a career politician who's come into this, you wonder, how can this be? How can you have a debate on Friday after having the bill being laid for 6 weeks, after 2 years of 45 different joint select committee meetings between opposition and government? How can you then have 4 days later a press conference saying, oh, I now have issues and these are my issues? And so there's a real governance question. Are we doing the work we're supposed to be doing? Are we as attentive to our joint select committees? Are we reading the bills? Because on Friday, I asked every Jamaican to go back and look at that debate and tell me if you felt that some of the members had read the bill.
The opposition is calling for a 6-month grace period for teachers' license renewals under the Jamaica Teaching Council bill, but the Education Minister says that's already been covered, pointing to a 2-year moratorium clearly outlined in the legislation.
So when the regime comes into place, when the bill comes into place, teachers have 2 years before they need to be registered. The bill also does not speak to a cost of registration. The bill says that the minister may, or the council may determine what the registration fee is. And I've already determined that that would be minimal or zero in the beginning, because you want to encourage our teachers to be a part of this.
Act now. Stand against child abuse and exploitation. That's the theme for Child Month 2025. May is recognized as Child Month in Jamaica, and the period is usually marked with several activities. Chair of the National Child Month Committee, Nicole Patrick Shaw, gave us some details about the reasoning behind this year's theme.
Between 2020 and 2024, crimes against children included 168 murders, 1,439 rapes, 2,576 sexual offenses, 351 shootings, and it goes on and on and on. And then in November, the Planning Institute of Jamaica released Jamaica's first violence survey against children, and we recognize some starking results in terms of what is happening with our children. And so we recognize that we needed to put into action the theme, Act Now, Stand Against Child Abuse and Exploitation.
Time now for the business report.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. Minister of Finance, Mrs. Fayval Williams, announced that Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, will not be leaving her job until the micro market is launched. This initiative was previously announced by Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Honorable Fayval Williams, while opening the 2025-26 budget debate in the House of Representatives on March 11. The JSE micro market will meet the needs of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise in the 10 million to 50 million participating equity capital bracket. In regards to the pending retirement of Dr. Street Forrest, Minister Williams made the remarks at the QAX Wealth Management Spring Investment Forum at the Terra Nova Hotel yesterday. In response, Dr. Street Forrest smiled. Minister Williams also welcomed the Rwanda Stock Exchange team on its training mission to learn from the success of the JSE, which was twice voted the #1 performing stock market in the world. At the QAX Wealth Management Spring Investment Forum at the Terra Nova Hotel yesterday, Minister of Finance, Mrs. Fayval Williams, and Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, encouraged investors to explore the direct market access, which allows the buying and selling of Canadian stocks by Jamaican investors. Currently, this international access is only offered by QAX Investments. We learn more. We're in a space where regional politics abound, and we're actually here at a QAX event. And QAX is one of the few places in Jamaica that you can buy Canadian stocks. So Doc, I know that's one of your brainchild. Can you give us just even a few words about why should Jamaican investors think about the Canadian market?
Well, it is always good to diversify your portfolio. You have local stocks. You can also take advantage and opportunity of Canadian stocks in a seamless way, such that you are able also to know what is in your portfolio and to value the portfolio.
Fantastic. Now, Minister Williams, taking an international approach, you have been known, your history is in the stock exchanges and in regional markets. What message would you have to investors that want to take advantage of opportunities even in this volatile time?
Well, it's often in volatile times that you find opportunities.
Yes.
And so I would say to investors, be in touch with your particular investment advisor.
Yes.
Who can help you to navigate these choppy waters. The worst thing that you can do is panic in this environment. So keep a cool head.
Yes.
Look at your options.
Yes.
And if you can invest more,
Yes.
do so. If
Yes.
not, you hold, you wait.
Yes.
There are many options for you right here, right now.
Thank you. So that was a very brief and condensed way, but listen, it's about reaching out to your financial advisor, and we have a woman who's on the verge of retirement and not ready to say where she's going, but her brainchild at the Jamaica Stock Exchange has birthed many investing opportunities, and I think that will continue, the legacy will continue. Thank you, Dr. Streetfires. Thank you, Minister.
Absolutely.
Yes. For the trading period ending April 30, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Alternative energy provider Wigton Energy Limited with 10,741,887 units traded, representing 21.30% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited US dollar shares with 6,434,630 units traded, representing 12.76% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited Jamaican dollar shares with 4,890,914 units traded, representing 9.7% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On April 30, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US 58.71 million purchased and US 53.04 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.78 per dollar, selling the US at $159.46 and buying the US at $157.68. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $1.83 per transaction, with selling at $115.64 and buying at $113.81. The British pound yielded Forex traders $2.24 in profit, with selling at $212.91 and buying at $210.67. For our credit report tip of the day, when you understand the power behind your credit score, you stop leaving money on the table. You start making moves that not only save you cash, but also create more financial breathing room and long-term stability. Remember, wealth isn't just earned, it's leveraged. And your credit is one of the most strategic tools in your wealth building toolkit. Here are some ideas. With a better credit score that lowers your interest rate, you could finance home upgrades or renovations that increase property value. Another option is to purchase investment property with lower financing costs. When you are building something from nothing and moving from financial recovery to financial resilience, while many professional women over the age of 45 feel like they're racing to catch up financially, the truth is that resilience can be built at any stage of life. Financial setbacks, career shifts, caregiving responsibilities, or unexpected life changes can leave even the most capable women feeling behind their peers. However, the tools to recover and rise are available and more accessible than ever. By taking strategic action and leveraging their life experience, women in midlife can transition from financial recovery to sustainable financial resilience, securing not just comfort, but confidence in the years ahead. Here are some suggestions. Consider investing in professional development. Skills pay the bills. New certifications or courses can reposition you fast. Then create a cash flow board or vision board. Visualize the life you're building every single day. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step towards your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, In Trinidad and Tobago, hours before the People's National Movement's General Council convened, former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley announced his resignation as the party's political leader. Two other deputy leaders, outgoing Prime Minister Stuart Young and Senator Rohan Sinanan, also stepped down. CNC3's K. Marie Fletcher has the story.
The People's National Movement is being forced to undergo immediate reconstruction after being hit with 3 resignations within hours. 2 days after receiving major blows at the polls, Dr. Keith Rowley took to social media to inform the population that as at May 1st, he will officially resign as political leader of the PNM. His official exit comes a day after several PNM senior members called for him to go. But while his announcement did not stun the nation after hinting at it months prior, it did pave the way for his appointees to follow suit. 5 hours after Dr. Rowley's announcement, his successor Stuart Young resigned as chairman of the party. Revealing his decision came after deep personal reflection of the election results. But things didn't stop there, as 2 hours after him, former Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan resigned as deputy political leader. Sinanan told CNC3 News since Dr. Rowley was the one to appoint him as deputy leader, it is only proper to resign after him. When CNC3 News reached out to the other deputies, Carmen Burt explained that their positions are under discussion. But when it comes to Ansel Dennis, he said he will not be resigning as a deputy. Unlike the others, Dennis is the only deputy not selected by Dr. Rowley, as whoever is elected to lead the Tobago arm of the party automatically becomes a deputy leader. But while PNM supporters learn to adjust to the sudden changes, political scientist Professor Hamid Ghani tells CNC3 News both Dr. Rowley and Young's resignations should have come the moment they lost the election. He also condemned Dr. Rowley's failed strategy of a 2-man leadership for the PNM.
I'm surprised that both he and Dr. Rowley did not offer their resignations or indicate their resignations on Monday night, but rather attempted to hold on. And now that there is a welling of discontent showing up on social media about what is happening inside the PNM, we see Dr. Rowley and Mr. Young within hours of each other putting forward these resignations. This should have been done on Monday night, not on Wednesday afternoon.
PNM only secured 13 seats in Monday's general election. Dr. Rowley was fine with people blaming him for the major defeat, but he said the PNM isn't in the blaming business, but in rebuilding the party. K. Marie Fletcher, CNC3 News.
Barbados' economy is off to a strong start this year, growing by 2.6% in the first quarter, marking the 5th straight year of early economic expansion. Central Bank Governor Dr. Kevin Greenridge shared the update during his latest review of the economy. Trevor Thorpe was at the Central Bank and brings this report.
The governor said government achieved its primary surplus target for the financial year 2024-2025.
That would have led to reflected a slowing of inflation to 0.9%. It also was consistent with our employment data showing easing to 7.1% from 8.3%. We'll go through that in big detail further. Also, that growth, expansion economy would have supported a primary surplus, reserve increase to all-time high of $3.4 billion, and at the same time, the current account deficit would have narrowed slightly over the period. The debt to GDP ratio also benefited from the economic expansion, declining further to 102.8% of GDP, and the financial sector remained quite robust and buoyant, with growth increasing in terms of credit growth, and also non-performing loans continue to go down to all-time low.
The top bank official said the good performance of the economy was led by a robust performance in the tourism sector.
Generally, we have broad-based growth. It was tourism stimulating activity in all sectors. Tourism contributed most in terms of the growth, increasing by 9.5% over the period. You can see the 2.6 quarter, and all sectors are above the zero line. Tourism up 9.5%, construction up 6.4%, of course reflecting the tourism public sector projects. Rollerton Pendry, Apesville Villas, also individual residential condo developments, public sector works, etc. Business and service sector, that was at 3.3% due to the increased demand for our services.
But the governor cautioned about trade tensions and supply chain supplies, which had also influenced the global outlook. And as a consequence, projections for Barbados had been adjusted downwards to 2.7%.
Now that reflects, again, the slowing of the global economy, particularly U.S. economy, which is our number one trading partner. Also reflected the spin-off effects that we expect will come perhaps through the tourism arm impacting our economy. Now, we still expect growth to be led by tourism, and just to explain the chart a bit, this line going across says our medium-term growth projection. We originally had our growth at 3%, we're down to 2.7%, but we expect it to come back up and let's set around 3%. These are a balance, upside risk, downside risk. Now, what is going to support that 2.7%? We expect it to be tourism, construction, and business services that will continue to contribute to that.
Now is the time to invest in ourselves and in our productive capacity, and the bank officials said it must be in projects that would define our economic future.
Every crisis is an opportunity. It's not only an opportunity for us, but it's a responsibility for us to rise above division, lead with intention, and share a resilient and distinctively Barbadian future.
The central bank governor says, given the uncertainty of the world, work has started on a BERT 3 program. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
In sports, we step into the boxing ring. President of the Jamaica Boxing Association, Stephen Bomber Jones, says boxing should be introduced in high schools. He says this will be a key step in the sport's growth in Jamaica. Drawing comparisons to popular sports like track and field and football, Mr. Jones believes that launching a boxing competition in high schools will provide a strong foundation for developing young boxers. Additionally, Jones is committed to changing perceptions of boxing, moving away from the stereotype of the sport being overly violent. Instead, he aims to highlight boxing as a disciplined, competitive pursuit that can teach valuable life skills to young athletes. We switch now to football. On the immediate radar of Trinidad and Tobago's national men's football team are the World Cup qualifiers and CONCACAF Gold Cup, which coach Dwight York and his charges facing some tough opposition in the group stage of the latter. TTT Sport spoke to former national striker Quayne Jones about the tasks ahead for the national unit.
I mean, it's a measuring stick, you know, for where we want to be. These are the games that we want to have to play. You know, generally, I think in Gold Cups, we do get tough opponents and coming at times where, you know, we may not be doing so well as we would like to. So it's always a great measuring stick for ourselves where we are in CONCACAF and obviously in preparation for Gold Cup and World Cup qualifiers. So it will be a tough test, but I do think that he'll be looking forward to it. I believe that the players will be looking forward to it. So hopefully we can, you know, get the build-up needed to go into that tournament and put our best football forward.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.